Okay, good evening. Welcome. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I am so excited. Thank everyone who just joining in, those who join in on the regular. I send peace and blessings to you. I thank you so much for your support. You know PTP, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. People to people, that's me, you, and them being whoever you want them to be. Power to power, the power they possess, the power we possess. But that power we bring together put us in a positive thinking state of mind, which causes us to become positive thinking people. So I just first of all give honor to God. I just thank God for, again, allowing another day for me to be on this platform. I have an amazing guest in today, and I will introduce him shortly. But as we keep moving forward, you know how we do. The lady in the back, she moved a little slow or something, I don't know. I'm messing with her because you know how we do on Real Talk. We keep it real. I try to stay with the flow. And you know, when we talk about it, we always give love to Tracy Clark, my co-host, who's always somewhere nearby. If she's not right here, she's always even in the air, looking down on us or on the phone, listening to us, or whatever the case may be. But send thanks and blessings to her as well. And I appreciate her so much. Also, you know that, as I say, Lady Z is in the house and she's handling. So if the screen blow up or something, it's her fault. That's all I'm telling you. And we talk about our godmother, the lady, Miss Rachel Pope, is also another young lady that we always do the shout out, as you know, as we go through, because she is definitely a supporter of the Real Talk Live. And I'm gonna have to get another picture up there too, because Ms. Lynn Nelson, who's always a part of our support team, we talk to Lynn every day. She always giving us advice on different things and supports us. And you know, it's always good when we have to remind you about date night, Friday date night. Date night is when Lady Z, the social butterfly, joins me, and we try to help promote black businesses in the area. And it's funny that what we've been doing with support, we was actually promoting people who give us food to share. And I'm gonna work on that, because we're gonna have to start to still promote other businesses during that time. So I don't want people to think that it's all about food. So, we're gonna have to work on that. But as we move forward, you'll see we'll continuously try to change the format and just move into directions, and we'll handle our business and make things work. Okay, I know you just saw this pop up on here, right? So before I do anything, so I got this on the screen, and I know this is gonna blow your mind, because you're saying, "Oh man, what is this on there for?" But let me introduce my guest before I start talking about this, because once I get into this, my guest here, this is Earth. So people call you Squirt, right? But they don't do that anymore.
No, just those people who really go way back and know me from my adolescent years.
Okay. So Squirt,
it's fine, man. You can call me that.
Eric. So and pronounce your last name.
Wilhoit.
Wilhoit. This is Eric Wilhoit. Actually, he's a childhood friend of mine. I'm a little older than he is. He look older than me, but that's, I'm just joking.
It's fine, man. That's all good. We still here, though.
Yeah, how about that?
We live to talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I love. And that's what's really, this brother here, man, Eric is from Hands in Motion 2. He's a professional barber, but he's a professional man in his mind with his thinking. And when I cut him loose on you, I'm trying to tell you, this brother here, I mean, it's always been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
Every time I've been in your presence, it's always been about something empowering people. Your conversation has never been something that was putting anybody down. I've never even heard you talk about anybody. I've always seen you to be a community-based brother that try to inspire people.
Absolutely.
So the reason why I got this picture of this guy up on the screen right now, and I know this is going to hit some feathers with you, because we was having a little dialogue prior. But in 1983, his name is Alvin Kennord. He took $50. It was $50 and some change from a bakery in Bessemer, Alabama. I hope I pronounced that right. Bessemer, Alabama. And he was 22 years old when he did this. On August 29th, 2019, they let him out of jail. So he was like 22 years old when he went to jail for stealing $58. And they released him when he was 36.
And what year did this happen again, brother?
In 1983.
Oh, that's not too long ago.
Right.
But most of the things that happened to us is not too long ago. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Wilhoit. I'm from the city of Alexandria. I'm a native there. Like Rodney said, I've been knowing him since I was a child, and he's a little older than me. But he can say I look older.
That was a joke.
We still here. I know. But you know, I'm a native there. I watched the whole city change, and we won't get into that dialogue yet, but we will. But what really touches me today is that me and this brother, and a lot of you guys may or may not know Lenny Harris, the great late Lenny Harris, and we had an organization called Operation Hope, help oppressed people emancipate, and we did great things in the city. But that brother energy, I mean, I just remember one time, him and I and Rodney, we was up in the projects on Alfred Street, talking about the brothers coming together then, and just this time right here just bringing me back to that cool moment when we was out there still in the struggle.
How about that? And I know, ladies, you can take that off. I just wanted people to see that this here is what they do to us. Mm-hmm. This has been going on for years. This has been going on for years. And one of the things that was one of the reasons why I was coming up. I was always impressed with you because every time we was in your barbershop, you always had it was positive. It was never negatively going on in there. It was always positive conversation. Y'all was always talking about, you know, making moves to better ourselves and things of that nature.
Well, in the shop, first of all, we don't allow for that type of activity to take place there. We try to uplift the community. We try to teach young men to be, turn them into young males and turn them into, you know, through their adolescent stage and teach them how to be men. So we don't play the pan sagging, the disrespecting of our people, the calling our sisters out of our name. We just don't play that disrespectful type of behavior in our environment because we want to constantly uplift our people and try to move forward. So I didn't ever think that was a good approach. And if you can't deal with that, then our shop is really not the shop for you guys. So, you know, we just basically want to keep it professional, but since the barbershops and salons has always been the hub of the community, we try to keep that barbershop talk there so that we can give that positive energy so that each one just teach one.
How about that, man? That's amazing, bro. And like again, you know, back in the day, it was quite a few of us that were out there with that mentality where we were trying to be examples for others. We was trying to set a role model, be role models for them. And like you said, Lenny, and it was quite a few men, Lucky Ellison, Mr. Richard, and Mr. Gray, Mr. Harvey. We can go on and on and on. It was a lot of men that were real leaders in their own way.
That's funny. He's telling his age because some of these people I don't even know.
That's right.
Because some of them I don't know. But they just paved the way for us in the city of Alexandria. See, what happened to me in my life, you know, as a young child, you know, I lived everywhere in the city of Alexandria. So I've been uptown, downtown, the Bird, the South Side, the West Side, Shirley Duke, Payne Street, you name it, we've lived there. So I've had a real close net with the city of Alexandria. We watched that city turn a little bit on us. Because at one time, what the brother talking about, he's talking more about group economics. Because when I was coming up, the whole Mount Vernon Avenue from, if you guys know, West Glebe, all the way up to, I want to say, Monroe Avenue was particularly black businesses. And you know, black-owned businesses all the way up the block. And so when I was coming up, that's what we was kind of used to. So, you know, a lot of things wouldn't hand it and give it to us. It was more so a struggle. So we learned to be like what we call hustlers, real hustlers, not rustlers, because rustlers do illegal things for money. But we did things like we mowed lawn. We used to go to the grocery store and we used to tote bags to the cars for change.
Yeah.
We used to collect beer cans, soda bottles. At one time, butterflies, so because some women was into making little art with glass. I mean, we just did a number of things to try to maintain the status. And what kind of happened to us is during the drug epidemic, because we were such great hustlers, when that drug got introduced to us, we kind of more so gravitated to it out of ignorance, especially in my life. That's what happened to me. And I got sidetracked for it. A lot of people don't know that I've been to penitentiary, you know, because of my mannerism now. Because when I went there, I took it as a learning tool, because I woke up one day and wondered why was I there. And then after I wondered why was I there, I wondered why was everybody there that looked like me, the majority of people that looked like me. So it sent me more into an endeavor of studying our history and what happened to us during the process of a lot of us still ended up into today's modern day slavery. So it's funny that he talked about this subject, because this been going on to us for so long. And the problem with us is that we don't really we don't know our rights in the United States of America. So in this country, if you don't know your rights, you really don't have any. So a lot of time, we spend a lot of time involved in our emotions and how we feel about situations, and our emotions clouds our intellect and don't give us the opportunity to look for the facts in the matter, because that's what it's really all about. It's about the facts in the matter. And we don't know our rights, so in this country it's hard for us to even get them. And we should spend more time really studying law a little bit so we can understand our rights, so we can stop. As a matter of fact, we wouldn't even really be worried so much about racism if we understood what our real rights were. Because, you know, we would be of the Republic. And being of the Republic would mean that we are capable of people of taking care of our own issues and handling our own affairs and creating our own income so we can create our own outcome. And that would be real important. And another thing he tagged on was us practicing group economics. You know, we must support each other's businesses. When we have business, we got to stop putting each other down, and we got to promote each other, because if we don't do it, nobody else will.
I told y'all, this brother here. Hey, give me a bucket of water. God, dog, I gotta dump some water, because this brother here is on fire. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we have to do. We have to get these type of conversations going so people are going to understand where we are and how we be working. Liz said, hello, Real Talk, and Eric Wilhoit in Operation Hope Birth One Love Fest. Lenny Harris is a role model for many of us in Alexandria. True, true, true.
Absolutely. He's a great inspiration for a lot of us. I wish I had that brother energy, I'm telling you. I mean, while he was here, a lot of people who celebrated his life, they really, 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 truly didn't want to see Brother Lenny Harris come and feel his presence, because he always fought for the elevation of his people on a constant and consistent basis. And he actually motivates me and gives me the energy that I still need today to try to keep this going and pushing it forward.
Sometimes I use this terminology and people didn't, you know, I say it and I don't want people to get it wrong. I used to say that Lenny and I had a hate-love relationship, and they didn't understand what I meant. I loved that brother. Absolutely. I respected him. But it was always like, you know, when two brothers are moving in the same lane, sometimes you'll look over and you'll see them coming and you say, oh Lord, here goes some competition. Yeah. And so what happened is he always made me have to step my game up, you know. And it wasn't, many times people didn't even know prior to me doing events, I'd go talk to them and tell them what I'm getting ready to do. And I always say, Lenny, let me know so we don't cross paths with each other. Because back then, at Full Force, it was him and I, and a few other people, but we were doing the productions and doing things of that nature. But Lenny was one, he'd hear something going on, and he'd be right there and jump in right in the midst of it to find out what was happening. And that was one of the things that back then, when I really saw how sharp you were, because you was always right there, because Operation Hope actually started with you and Gwen and him all in one little clip.
Well, you know, I don't really talk about it because it's not important what position you really take. But you know, I was really the founder of Operation Hope, and what happened? A situation had transpired in Alexandria. I believe it was with Lucky with the RAC, or one of the RAC leaders, how they had demoted him from a position he had. It might have been Chick or one of them,
Yeah.
but it was I'm talking about. Chick had been teaching kids baseball, and football, and every other sport in the city of Alexandria. They demoted him, and that's how me and Lenny connected. And you know, the brother energy just had me gravitate to him. And so from that point forward, that's when we it used to be Hope Ministry, and then it turned from Hope Ministry to Operation Hope. And Lenny was already doing the One Love Festival, so we just kind of piggybacked off one another. But let me tell you how sharp this brother was. And a lot of people used to call us conspiracy theorists, and they may still do. But what we got to understand, when you got enough information and facts to support what you're saying, it's only a conspiracy. You have to remove the theory. Always remember that. Because we used to say things and people wouldn't follow us. But one day, Lenny told it, somebody had tipped Lenny off, and I don't know who it was. He was like, man, we got a meeting on the 23rd of December at City Hall about, I believe it was about housing or something in the city of Alexandria. And it was peculiar because it was on December the 23rd. And you know, most of us, on December the 23rd, we are shopping for Christmas or whatever to celebrate this holiday. But see, some of the things we don't know, that's when some of the most important meetings are being held about our outcome, or like affordable housing, or where we're going to live, or how our educational system is going to benefit us. And those they take those votes in those positions while we're not even present. So our best interest can't be taken at heart if we're not even invited to the party. You understand what I'm saying?
That's I mean, some of these things a lot of people don't even know, and they don't pay attention. Okay, what's that? Nikia Carter, it says easier said than done, brothers. Black businesses needed to be supported, but the customer service for majority
of them are very bad.
Wait a minute. It says, okay, I'm a black business, so I thrive 20 times harder to get businesses and expectations of giving all of my business away. Well, you know, it's like this. We have to get back to a point where, first of all, not be afraid to start the business, but then we got to also get in a position where we make sure that the business survives. You know, and we got to come out there, and it's not so much because. With a lot of us, what we do when it's a black business, we go in there, we want credit or discount. You can't go to Walmart and do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let me piggyback on that. That's a couple of things. First of all, our initiative in the shop is always saying, when you go over to the grocery store and you got $49 and your bill is $50, you don't ask the cashier to hook you up. You either put something back, or you pull that other dollar out your pocket.
Right.
But when you're doing business with your brother, is always talking about a hookup. Can you give me this, or can you? But you know, we got to try to be more better. But what the sister was talking about is out more so customer service. Well, you know, it's an old saying. We took our clothes to the Chinese cleaners for years. I'm talking about maybe 10 or 15 years. The man put holes in your shirt at a time. Man burnt a little hole in your shirt, bleached it a little bit wrong, told you he can get a stain out. You seen a little color stain. And you never stopped doing business with this man. You understand what I'm saying? You always take your money back to this man. But soon as one of the brothers do something, or one of the sisters who has their own business do one little thing wrong, you scrutinize and say you're never going to patronize another black business, which makes no sense. You understand what I'm saying? If you got a problem or issue with the customer service, then you should address the owner and tell the owner, listen, I want to give you my money. I want to patronize the black business, but this is what I expect from you doing business with the black business.
Oh, no, that's his phone. It's okay.
I thought I turned that phone down.
It's all right. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, power to people. What I tell you, hey, Hey, things happen in the studio, but you see, we don't rehearse nothing. It happens right here. We keep it real. That's what I love about it. I started getting nervous. I thought it was my phone for a minute. I was like, okay. Hey, let's go to the screen. Let's go back. Okay, so Troy Smith, who the other brother who was on here, Troy, man, the numbers was like they tripled on the show. Man, people were still calling and talking to me, and it was peace and blessings for you, bro, for coming in and sharing as well. Go back to what Troy said. It says, I truly miss the barbershop days, the Real Man's Organization Network Sanctuary. Original Network Sanctuary. The barbershop, the place where different opinions spawned teaching in a unique setting. That was something. You always had the guys, like, it seemed like the barbershop guys was the guys who had the knowledge to be able to share with you. Said, brother, I feel you on this. Okay, Fatima, she says, our expectations are so much higher for our own people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's kind of been a taught behavior, and I kind of believe it. I know it's been a taught behavior. That's most definitely a taught behavior, because we've been taught that our lives, or we as a people, are really not worth anything. You know, like even back with this, the 3/5 of a human being, we've been taught that. You know, Military Manumission 17, what is that? 1784, the Christian Black Code Acts. All these things demoralize us as a people. You understand what I'm saying? So when we look at each other, we don't look at each other on the same equal playing field that we look at everyone else. And we gotta just stop doing that as a people. We gotta most definitely continue to support each other. And if you got an issue with one of your brothers or sisters with a business, like I said, the best thing to do, and I learned this from a brother, Jeremy, and man, shout out to Jeremy, he said, go to the individual and tell them, look, I want to spend my money with you. I want to spend my money with the black business, but this is what I expect from you, from your customer service. And that's how you do it. Don't just leave out and then go talk about the business to everybody in the world, because we never going to be able to. Listen, if we don't support each other, tell me who's going to do it.
Right.
Right? We cry about injustices. We cry about police brutality. We cry about racism. But at the end of the day, and I don't like to discuss a lot of our issues, because I believe a lot of our issues should be discussed behind closed doors amongst each other, so we can make each other a little bit better. But far as that's concerned, we kind of I kind of got off my subject. We got to kind of still just support each other and stay with each other, and with these injustices, look at each other from a different perspective to uplift one another, so that we all can get that type of customer service that we expect or that we want. And that's the only way we can go about it, instead of just turning your back on the black business.
Hey, first of all, again, this is Eric Wilhoit. I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes, fine.
Okay.
Wilhoit.
Wilhoit. And let me tell you something. If you got some young males around, please get them so that they can listen to this brother speak. We want them to understand that we kings. We are warriors, and we are in our position to stand up front to say we are ready to lead. And when I say that, because we would give you knowledge and give you opportunity for young men to know what it's like to really be a man. And it doesn't mean by you putting a gun in your hand and going and robbing and stealing or selling drugs or beating on your woman or not, just doing all the negative stuff in the streets that a lot of us have been led to believe that's all we do. That's not true. We have a lot of positive, strong black men that's still here. They said it's a shortage on men. No, it's not a shortage on us.
No.
We still here.
No.
I just got the sign that said, okay, we want to welcome some people in. Wanda Berry, Gerald McCoy, Fatima Smith Colvin, Troy Smith, Angela Gomez, Boo Jones. Let's see, that'll keep going. That's Nakia Carter, and most definitely my love, Lynn Nelson. Judy Holmes and Rachel Pope, the godmother, Marcus Evans, Monte. Wait a minute, what I said?
Marcus Evans and Monte.
Oh, they both. Okay, that's my son, and Beth Roots, Desi, Brenda Minnick from South Carolina. Don't mind me, babe, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got something on my mind, and you know what it is, brother.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I got it still. Okay, where we at right there? Go ahead.
Birthday wishes.
Some birthday wishes, shout outs.
Is that Tiara Lucas? The big 40.
Yeah, Tiara, happy birthday to you, Old Town Alexandria.
What is it, Aunt Poppy?
Like that, somebody had it on there. I don't know who Aunt Poppy is, but happy birthday, Aunt Poppy.
Aunt Vanessa.
Aunt Vanessa too. They didn't put the last name, but happy birthday to Aunt Vanessa.
Sheila Mickey Allen.
Okay, Sheila Mickey Allen. I know her. She's a sweetheart childhood friend I grew up with. Okay, Chocolate Wanza. What's happening, Eric?
Peace, brother. Peace.
Hey, so you know, right now it's just funny. We're in a real serious time that we have to make sure that we are getting our voice out. And brothers like this has this knowledge to share. It shouldn't just be in the barbershop. So we use this platform to be able to get that information out. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to do so.
I appreciate the invite, brother. I appreciate the invite.
It's just so important that the women and men, what we do is we step back and really look at where we are. And we can't keep blaming everybody else for where we are today.
Oh no, that's over, bro. But let me just touch on. We're on three dynamics right now. We're dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with racial issue and a financial crisis at this point. And then of course the election is coming up. But the collateral damage that the coronavirus is doing to our people is out of this world, man. And that's another thing that I want to talk about, because we only kind of like get one narrative of what's really going on. And when anytime other entities don't want other narratives to be put out on the forefront, it kind of frightens me, because then somebody's information is not going to be sound. And so I think that's important, because all these issues, the financial issue, the pandemic, and the racial issue, all these kind of trigger under us understanding what our rights are. You understand what I'm saying? Because first of all, quietly the government, or we are surrendering all of our basic fundamental rights with this pandemic that's out here. You understand what I'm saying? They put this coronavirus, and there's many a coronavirus, but COVID-19 at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? As far as the contraction, as far as people having it, and the so-called number of people that's supposed to be dying. Well, we need to do like what we call perusals with some of this information that we receive. Because when you really do the numbers, like it's 99.7% of the people with corona are healthy people. Only 0.3% of people are dying. Out of that 0.3%, only 0.1% are of healthy entities. You understand what I'm saying? So that number is so tremendously small. You understand? So it's shut down, like it killed it. It's crippling small business like our businesses.
Right.
It's when I tell you crippling it, brother. Like, what is a man supposed to do when you was taught to be self-sufficient your whole life, and that's the way you've been doing it your whole entire life, and then someone tell you you can't be self-sufficient anymore because we got a coronavirus that's supposed to be killing these X amount of people. Your business got to close down.
And then get no real support to help you.
No, ain't no support whatsoever.
Yeah.
The government ain't never really supported us, not without a cost anyway. You understand?
Well, when you look at where we are, that's the one thing that really bothers me, is that anybody who was struggling with their business in the beginning, and they started just to even, and they never, believe it or not, you already know, they never really level out.
Right.
It's always that what happen is you'll struggle, you get here, then you'll have to climb another hill.
Right.
Because each time that we get so far, then it's another hurdle we have to deal with. So it's always like this, going up.
I get you.
And so what happens is, when we got this situation, now we get the rug pulled from under us, where we really wasn't thinking about building foundation, which was our fault. Okay? See, we got to understand building foundation is important, where we got to start learning how to save money. Don't take the money and keep putting it into those businesses. Don't put it back into us.
Community, yeah.
See, when we not putting that back into our own community, then we're just as guilty when we look at our situation. Because we got to start educating ourselves on how we're going to build. One of the things that I look at many people, I had a lot of people, they was like looking even at the program. and they don't understand. This is what we need so that we can start to get a wake-up call. Because just in there, I'm going to bring something up because I want you to talk about it, because you brought something to my attention when I said about them guns. And what you said.
Right.
It said, Boo Jones said, most important thing that I admire about my young cousin Eric W. is not only that he speaks well, that his reaction speaks even louder and more profoundly. Let us as a people stop practicing without action. Everyone take an honest look in the mirror, please. Hey, bro, I second that. If we had to raise our hand, I second that motion right here. And that is so true. Troy said barbershops years ago were the original surgeons who would perform blood-letting procedures to cure patients. I always admire the barber pole that would signify a place of trust. Most barbershops conversations were kept safe within the walls of the shop. Barbers are craftsmen and educators. That is true. You used to sit down and talk to your barber, and the barber would start to talk to you and tell you different things, and they would give you some information. I remember the Booker T on Queen Street. You can go in there and you listen to all the barbers talking, and you can learn about football, you can learn about something about God, you can learn about having a business. It was all kind of conversations going on. I'm trying to see.
Let me pick you on that, on the barbershop far as we being surgeons. Yes, at one time it was. What people don't know about barbers, and just in order to get your license, you have to study bacteriology. You practice sanitation, sterilization, sterilizing, how to prevent pathogens, non-pathogen bacteria, the prevention of AIDS. I mean, you learn the different streptococcus, different pathogens and non-pathogens that kind of travel through your body. And that's another situation we may can pick up on, maybe not at this time, but at a later date. We learn them things, all the anatomy of your skin, your body. Like, for instance, let me just say this real quick. Like, when the coronavirus first hit, they was telling us to use all this, the hand sanitizer, right? The second I seen that, we had a big conversation in the shop. I'm like, yo, you know, why would you use hand sanitizer? First, it has triclosan in it, number one, and then you have alcohol, and then the sanitizers kill 100% bacteria. First of all, with the triclosan and alcohol, it's going to break your epidermis, which is your outer layer of skin, which is going to make it more permeable. What happens if your skin is more permeable? It makes you more susceptible to get bacteria, and it makes you more susceptible to get viruses. So that wouldn't be the proper treatment for the CDC to tell our people to use. It made absolutely no sense. It was contrary to what they were supposed to be trying to prevent or trying to spread. See, what we should have been doing, we should have been using lemons, because what you do is you make lemon, which is very acidic on the outside, but on the inside is alkaline. And for pathogens and non-pathogens or pathogen bacteria and virus to live, it can't really live in alkaline states. But what you do with a lemon, you would take it, get you some warm water with a little bit of this liquid, squeeze you some fresh lemons, because it's got its exception from the lime. And what lemons do when you use it as an antiseptic, it kills the bad bacteria, the pathogens, but preserve the non-pathogens. And you need the non-pathogen bacteria to actually fight off the bad pathogen bacteria. You understand what I'm saying? So they should have been giving us different formulas. See, that's why I say we do perusals on information when they give it to you, because when things don't make sense, you question it. I don't care who you getting that information from. When right is right, no matter if nobody else doing it, it still remains to be right.
Well, that was one of the things that I was trying to tell some people too. We running around with the mask. Okay, when you put the mask on, that you don't realize that actually you're doing more damage to your lungs if you're out there trying to run with a mask on. I'm not saying that you don't want to protect yourself and you want to be smart, but you got to realize something. If you don't take the mask down and breathe, you got people inside of the car, when they're inside the car by themselves with the windows up, and they got a mask on. Now, why would you be driving like that? And now what you're doing is you're breathing in the old air that you put out.
Right, but we inhale carbon dioxide. Fresh oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide. So it's actually carbon dioxide. We're not meant to inhale carbon dioxide. It's actually meant to be exhaled. And if we understand about the Creator, then we want to follow the laws of the Creator. And we're not meant to breathe that in, because what happened with carbon dioxide, we already know that it's a killer gas, right?
Right.
It's toxic. So what happens is when you breathe it in, it gets into your bloodstream, and once again, this doesn't make sense. It attacks your lungs, if this is an upper respiratory virus, an RNA virus, then why would we be doing something that's contrary to building our lungs, what we call our immune system up, which actually will break it down, and it also reduces your oxygen intake by 15%.
So, and it's so funny. Wait, it says success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. And then this is Troy. He said, "Agreed. This is so true." Okay. So I tell you, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, my mind is just going, because there's so much that I've been thinking about and trying to get people to hear and to see that one of the things that you want to focus on, if you have a low immune system, then you don't want to do things that's going to break it down. And you got to use common sense. Common sense is what's going to show you exactly what you got to do. And everybody's body is different. So when you talking about washing your hands, of course, it was one brother, we remember me and my wife, we saw where he was talking about the lemon, boiling the lemon juice. What was in it? Lemon and ginger. He had, I believe he had garlic in it. And these days he was boiling all this, and he said if you inhale it, what it would do, it would actually help you so that you it would clear your airway, and also help you breathe better, and it help your immune system. And so what was so funny is that we started doing this now. Some of this stuff that we were doing, we had already been practicing anyway. And so me and my wife both, we was going through, I'm 60 years old. And so, of course, I've been in the military. I had some different issues here and there. They diagnosed me with something here a while back, told me that they wanted to put me on some medicine. And I say, no, I'm not going to let you do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do it naturally. Now, I say all that to say, what we started doing is paying attention to what the natural foods could do for our body. I was at 230 pounds. I'm now at 192 pounds, okay? My stomach, at one time, my stomach was out like this. And now my stomach is going down. Not because of what the doctor told me as far as the medicine and what he tried to say I was sick with. It's because I then took the step back and start to evaluate my own body and start to understand what I was putting in it and what I was doing to it. And so I say all that to say, with a lot of people even right now, in order for you to be able to move forward, you got to pay attention to things like the thing about the hand sanitizer. You know what really got me? You go around and they got this hand sanitizer, right? You touching everything, you put the hand sanitizer on it, not washing your hands, but you thinking the hand sanitizer is killing this stuff, and what you're doing, after a while you keep putting it over, and you're putting germ over germ over germ over germ.
You just breaking your outer,
and you just breaking down your
outer layer of your skin. Period. This is the bottom line. Even we have to be first of all, the good book says, I ask a lot of people what's the first diet in the book. It tells you to eat fruit and vegetation that bear seeds and herbs as your meat. You understand what I'm saying? And what that's telling you is the Creator has the best way. We eat a lot of meats, which is carcinogenic, which is also high acidic and also cancerous. You know what I'm saying? We should get our forms of protein from more of greens, beans. Try to move fish. Try to move away from a lot of these meats. Because first of all, we got to understand that the FDA is behind all the food basically that's in America that's not natural. And the reason why the FDA approve a lot of these bad foods that they know that's cancerous. Like for instance, pasteurized milk has to have 32,000 pathogenic bacteria before they remove it off the shelf. That's too much going into a human's body. Right. And so when the let me finish. So when the FDA they approve food, when you look at the side effects of things that they approve, it frightens you. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And then you go to a herb and they'll tell you, oh, it's not approved by the FDA. Well, this is what the Creator gave you to purify your body. You understand what I'm saying? So if this is what the Creator gave you to cure your body, why would I go to man for man to give me something that he made or procreated from what the Creator already gave you? That doesn't make absolutely. I'm going to go to the cream of the crop, or I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to go to what I know that's going to work best for our, not just my body, but it works best for all of our body. You understand what I'm saying? We just do not put the right things into our body, and most of our diseases start right here in our gut. In our gut, yes. Right here. Yes. As a matter of fact, like most people don't know, like even serotonin, they think it's produced in your head, but 80% of serotonin is produced in your gut. So what that tells you is these bad bacteria, these pathogens that's in your body, you should have good pathogens, non-pathogen bacteria, and that count should be 85% to 15%. And when I say 85%, non-pathogen, 20% pathogen, because the pathogen bacteria is what actually fights. There's a war that goes on inside your body every day to fight off the bad bacteria that enters into your body. And we'll collab a little bit more on that. I just wanted to get that.
No, that's fine. I mean, something that me and my wife was saying the other day. You know, it's so funny. I'm talking little common sense things. Okay, we drink what kind of milk?
Cow's milk. No.
But what are we?
Humans. There's no other animal that partake in another animal's milk except human milk. We call ourselves the most intelligent creatures on the planet.
And we was just talking about that the other day. That the fact is that we drink cow milk, but we are humans. Cows don't drink our milk.
First of all, you don't see no other animal partaking in milk anyway after a certain stage. We don't need that. Actually, we can produce calcium and vitamin D from the rays of the sun. It's two types of vitamin Ds. You have vitamin D1 and vitamin D3, and 3 is produced strictly by the sun. So we should also make the sun part of our diet and get out in the sun every single day. It's a little bit harder for us in the wintertime because we're tropical people and we have melanin, and that protects us from the rays of the sun. So we would have to get a little bit more sun every day exposure to get that extra vitamin D that we need, and it's kind of difficult. So sometimes we may have to take in some type of supplements. Right. But make sure when we get these supplements, they grade A supplements, and most of them are live, because you want live bacteria, good pathogen non-pathogen bacteria to go into your body. So you need, and then there has to be a balance. And then, like I was about to say, the best milk for our children are the celestial fluids that come from their mother. Right. It helps their immune system. They shouldn't even be taking no vaccination shots at no early age like that. Like when you and I came up, we probably took 3 to 4 vaccination shots our whole entire life.
That's right. That's
period.
Right.
And now they do 60, 64, 67 vaccination by the 6th grade.
Okay. What's that? Personal carbon dioxide. I can't. Sometimes it's hard for me. Personal carbon dioxide can kill and cause hyperventilation. Okay, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about earlier. People don't even understand that they wondering why they have these issues with breathing and they not taking in that fresh air. Me and my wife would walk, and remember when I told you, I was telling you some other things that I do as well. When I would, after the walk, I take my shoes off and I would connect with the earth. Okay, now people don't understand that all of this plays a factor because God gave us everything that we need. You know, when I was in the Philippines, I never forget, I had a boil on my butt and I couldn't sit down. And now the doctor, what he wanted to do, they wanted to put a needle in it and do all this. But what the lady did, she put a hot rag on it and made it come to a head and then put a potato on it, right? And the potato absorbed everything out of it. Let me tell you another thing real quick. When we talk about natural healing and stuff, we have to pay attention to it. I used to suffer from migraine headaches tremendously. I'm talking about to a point I wanted to run in front of a car. My grandmother used to take vinegar and put it in a brown paper bag, take a brown paper bag, and she would lay it in there and lay it across my head. So when I was in Okinawa, Japan, I had a migraine, and being in the Marine Corps, they don't want to hear that. And I told them, I said, give me a brown paper bag and some vinegar, and I can get the headache to go down. So long story short, the next day, my staff sergeant, he said, well, you got to go to sick bay. So they sent me to sick bay. I talked to a Japanese doctor. You know what he told me? He said, first of all, he said, your grandma is a smart woman. He said, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you why she used the vinegar. He said, I ain't sure on that brown paper bag, but he said, but I can tell you why she used the vinegar. Because the vinegar actually starts to thin your blood. And when it gets into, when she put it on your forehead and it goes into your pores, it will start to thin your blood out. And so when your vessels, when it start to go through, because now it's thinning out, the pressure won't be as bad. He said the other thing, and my grandmother used to do, is use an ice pack too. He said the purpose for that was, what she was doing, she was freezing the vessel, the vein. So by doing that, now using the vinegar and then freezing the vein wasn't doing this anymore. It wasn't pulsating. So now that's why I was able to kind of be able to manage through the migraine. And then he also told me, he said, you got to watch what you put in your body. So when he told me that, now all these doctors kept trying to give me pills and give me pills and give me pills, and I refused to take them. And then when this one Japanese doctor told me, he showed me pressure points, and then he told me about my feet being so connected to my head more than anything on my body, he told me the other things to do. And I just wanted to throw that out there to just say, when you start doing natural things, these are the things that God had given us to use, and it helps us. I know, okay, I see the thing going over to the wife over here. She got the little arrow going over here saying, Rodney, okay, pay attention. Mark said, yes, this is true. I use this as well. Kimmy Kim, hello, sweetheart. Peace and blessing to you. She said, this is some good teaching right here. Mark said, facts. Troy, yes, sir. Educate us by my friend, which he was talking to you, Eric. Kim said, come on and teach, bruh. Rachel, she said, we're suffering from a cellular malfunction. Yes, we need to do more self-care for ourselves, for 100%. And I want to feed on that. It says, grounding when you connect to our Mother Earth, EMF. Let me tell you what some other people didn't realize. And some of these things that I practice from different teaching that I got from other people. One of the things, whenever I do pray, especially in the morning, I face the east, which is when the rise of the sun, and which is the vitamins we get, and also everything that comes the way that God got it working, it works in our favor because we're connected with everything. I was trying to tell a person that my wife proved to be a fact, that even if you watch how your body responds in the morning and you do the things that it's supposed to naturally do, you'll start to see you heal better. So like not eating after 7 and 8 o'clock. See, around the time when the sun go down, your body is also doing, it starts shutting down too.
Your metabolism.
Right, and a lot of people don't even know that. What they doing is they eating real late, and all of this stuff is building up. And that was one of the reasons why my stomach started going down, because I started to realize I was doing more damage to myself at 8, 9 o'clock at night, eating 3 sandwiches and a bowl of ice cream to go to sleep on.
Hey, Rodney, it's because really we've been taught wrong from the very beginning. Because how we celebrate, just imagine how we celebrate our days, right? We celebrate our days as part of night.
Yeah.
So if I get up in a day and we got 8 hours a day, then that's my day. But we complete a cycle of a day in 24 hours, and we call night day and day night. And when that's not how it's supposed to be, because every entity rises to the sun. And it's like if you take water and put it in a plant, put it in a window, that plant can be bent over, and by midday it's going to be rising to the sun.
Yes,
and that's how we operate. That sun has what we need in it to actually help us to sustain life, but we doesn't. And see, even with the teachings, if you go back to the ancient Kemet, they talk about when the Egyptian called the sun Ra, right, and they paid attribute to the sun. So when the European invaded Egypt, what did he do? He called it the sun god Ra. The Egyptians didn't call it sun god Ra. They said it was just Ra. And they paid attributes and understood that the sun helped them to sustain life as we know it. But they took us and told us that these people was worshiping the sun as if it was a god. And that's not exactly what they was doing.
Right.
They was just paying attributes to the sun because the sun was what was given to help us sustain life as we know it. And so when we be miseducated about things, it's hard for us to get it right, even down to our very health. The FDA only approve things that they can patent. And they can't patent anything that's natural. Anything that's natural, they can't patent. That's me and you when we came up. You tell me one seedless grape you ever ate when you was a child.
And that was something else somebody else told me. I ain't never seen nothing. How do you get something to grow that don't have a seed?
You manipulated it in the lab.
Right. So that means that it's really not a real grape.
Genetically modified.
It's right. So the other thing that got me too, I ain't never seen a lemon this big. Right? You go in the store, the lemons is this big. Now, regular lemons back when we was growing up, they was about this big, right?
Yeah, the lime was smaller and the lemon was a little bigger.
Now you go in there, you can find a lemon big as an apple. You can find a lemon as big as an orange.
Well, all these things are genetically modified. So, you got people playing as the creator. You understand, giving us the wrong things to put in our bodies. You see, we got to understand that, it's two sides to this. You have the evil side and you have the good side.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can only either be on one. You can't really straddle the fence. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
when we dealing with these people who's been giving us this misinformation for so long, it's hard for us to remove ourselves from it. What we have is in the back of right over top of our abdugala is a reticular activating system. What that reticular activating system, and this comes from one of my master teachers, the reticular activating system is a filter for your brain. It receives every bit of information all the way till you take your hand and rub it over top of the hairs. It records and filters that information. So if somebody teach you something for so long, even if it's wrong, when someone starts to teach you right, you're going to automatically reject it because that reticular activating system telling you that it's not right. That's how come it's so hard for us to get off these diets that we're on. When someone tells you, listen, we need to stop eating this, we need to stop doing this. For instance, like, I don't have anything against people who wear masks. That's your choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I take care of myself.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't go for this, what they call the boogeyman, this asymptomatic. What that means is that you've had a coronavirus before and your body has created the antibodies. So the next time that this enters into your body, then your body will react to it very, very fast and know how to fight it off. That's what this means. This means this thing's been around longer than what they say it had. But when you've been given misinformation for so long, brother, it's really, really, really difficult for you to clean your mind up and start doing things that's right for your body.
Okay, it says, teach, bruh, and Africa teaching is not voodoo. The African was observant and natural. No, that's nature was its teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just so funny that what happens with us, we get so locked up into what was taught to us. And if you don't know, I always tell a person you don't know. So that means don't go running and want to jump into a swimming pool and you haven't checked to see if it was water in it. Don't run and tell somebody that this is not good for you if you haven't did your homework on it to find out what it is. Like when the doctor told me, he said I was a diabetic, right? He said, right, Mr. Grimes, you're a diabetic. I said, no, I'm not. And he looked at me. He said, but yes, you are. I said, but no, I'm not. So he said, well, I'm telling you your readings has come back this and that. I said, okay, then tell me what should I do so that I don't have you tell me I'm a diabetic. He said, well, I can put you on this. I say, no. Or we can try that. Oh, no. So listen to the words he was saying. I can put you on this, or we could try that. And I said, no. I said, tell me, what is it that's the problem? He said, well, first of all, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get proper rest and you're going to have to lose weight. I said, because now you're talking to me.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so now that you tell me that, I said, what causes it? And he started talking about the type of foods that I'm eating. So when I came back, I started to doing my investigation and find out what caused you to be a diabetic. So then I found out, I can't be eating all those potatoes and all that stuff that turns into sugar at night when my body is breaking down. That's what causes me to have this sickness.
Self-induced. A lot of things we do are self-induced from the food and the chemicals that we put into our body because we've been misinformed about our diets in the first place. And let me finish. I didn't close out that point about individuals wearing masks. Like I was saying, I don't really have a problem with an individual wearing masks, but don't have a problem with me as a healthy person if I choose not to.
Right.
Because I know a little bit more about what we, even all the way to the bacteria and how they move and operate into your bodies, like even with viruses and stuff. Because, like I said, we study, and I particularly study these things, and so that I'll have solid information, so I don't be tricked anymore. Because you got to remember, people are playing chess while we playing checkers, and we got to get on the chessboard and understand this thing has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. Right. You know what I'm saying? To take us out of our rightful place. Right. And where we need to be. See, the first thing our master teaches is health is first. Health comes before anything, then wealth, and then a knowledge of yourself. So if you don't have good health, none of these things matter. Right. And that's why now my master teacher when it comes to food is Dr. Sabi, the late great Dr. Sabi. Everybody's trying to get on a health tip because now we understand that a lot of these things that we're doing to ourselves are self-induced. And if you're not taking care of your body like you're supposed to, we need to get on board and learn. You understand what I'm saying? And don't get mad at us who are and try to punish us for your lack or your inabilities of taking care of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And I don't have a problem, like I said, that if you feel a certain way, you're entitled to that. But the same way other individuals are entitled to their right of expression, I'm entitled to my right of expression. You understand? And that's what we gotta live by that. Because first of all, our Creator we are social creatures. You understand? Our Creator taught us to be social. He ain't teach us to be locked inside of a house. He ain't teach us to be going into restaurants with masks or a muzzle over our face. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't teach us to eat these bad foods that are genetically modified. All this come from the mark of the devil and the mark of the beast. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to get on one side. We got to either get on the good side or we're going to get on the bad side. And right now, us as a people, we got to more so elevate to more positive things, positive thinking, positive eating, positive food, positive exercise for the elevation of us. We got to stop wanting other people to do for us what we most definitely can do for ourselves. We can most definitely do things for ourselves, and we got to stop just listening to everybody else telling us what's best for us. We got to correct us. And earlier, a sister said, about good customer service. The reality of it is, how many people got good customer service from the perspective of a black man? Most of our good customer services come from the perspective of a European. Right. Because he told us what good service is supposed to look like. When we was coming up, good service was greeting our brothers and sisters and us patronizing the shop or stores and not going in there and stealing from out of the stores or vandalizing the stores. That was good customer service. What happened is we stopped thinking that things that we was doing for ourselves was good enough. Come on. And we got to get back to understanding what's good for us. That might not be good for the next nationality, but for us, this what's good for us. And that's what we got to pay attention to. A lot of the other nationalities that come to this country, they stay within the realm that what works for them. And that's how they are over us right now. They getting everything. Rachel said, renew our mind. We must do that. We must renew our mind. Tony Lopez says, it says, what he says, wear your mask. Let me tell you something, Tony, I ain't mad at you. You know what? Wear your mask. I wear them. I do. But guess what? I also take mine off, and I know what's good for my body. I'm not telling nobody don't wear your mask, but I'm going to tell you this. You can keep wearing your mask, and if you don't breathe properly and you're not taking care of yourself properly, you're causing more damage to your lungs. Google it. Go and really check into it. You'll find out what's happening. You can wear your mask around people, but I'm going to tell you something. What you really need to be focusing on is what you're putting in your body and get yourself where you're healthy enough to fight off almost anything, because God has put everything you need on this earth to survive.
Doctors are drug pushers. Let me tell you something else I know.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. My mom right now is on so much medication that I know if she came off of it, it'd kill her. Okay? Let me tell you something. In my household, we don't hardly take an aspirin. Okay? It's certain things that we do, and that's because when my wife first met me, my wife had certain things that she had to do, and I started to show her different ways of going about different things. My wife is right now, can I walk me? And probably can do more push-ups than me, okay? And when I met her, you know, she was going through, it was a different way of her thinking. But when I started to speak to her and started to show her different things, it's about what we eat, what we do. She's now better at it than I am. When things start to get bad, she'll say, babe, don't eat that. Don't put that in your body. Don't drink that. Drink water. Get on this. Let's do some vitamins. This is where we are. And what's happening? Now we are feeling so much better. It says, Mark, he says, you speaking the truth, my brother Eric. I have studied these things. You are dead on point, brother. Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, Mark, as you and I got to continue to build my knowledge is to renew the mind. And this is one reason why I told my wife when Eric said he was going to come on. I had talked to her before, and I said, this brother here got something for you. But it's a lot of other brothers out there like that as well. We need to embrace them. Stop looking at guys and thinking that they don't know what they're talking about when they're trying to tell you about natural healing. All you got to do is just check into it when you start to pay attention to it. Also, I don't know what your religion is. I don't really claim a religion. I just believe in a higher being. I believe in God.
I don't have a religion, brother. I don't subscribe to any religion. I've studied a lot of them, but I don't subscribe to any of them. I know there's a greater power, greater than self, and I know nature is our learning tool, and we need to follow the laws of nature in order for us to be as strong as we possibly can. But I think religions are used to manipulate and control the mindsets of individuals, and I won't conform to any particular religion. I respect them all. Don't get me wrong if you want to be in a religion, but I don't subscribe to any religion. And I don't knock people for do. You do what's best for you, and I'm gonna do. I believe in the freedom of right of expression, and without hypocrisy. So if you have a freedom of right of expression, so do I. So do you be your way, brother, and to me be mine. But
Yes.
I don't care what our religion is. See, when we coming together and collabing as a people, and we talk about the elevation of us as a people, our religions, little personal things that we think, those particular things we need to leave at home because it's really not personal. When we talking about the elevation of us as a people, we got to be collective. It can't be about self. So if you got a particular religion, that's fine. Keep it. When you talking about building, man, listen. You know how many different nationalities has built with different perspectives and different religions. They do it all the time. We the only ones that let religion separate us. You listen. I have Christian brothers, Muslim brothers, Jewish brothers, 5% of Nation of Islam, whatever you claim, they still my brothers at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, we gotta all just continue to where it is. We was born in this hue before anything, before we chose any particular religion. What you did come in is through nature, and so I try to prescribe to the laws of nature as much as I possibly can. I wanted to piggyback on something that a brother said about this mask and dealing with bacteria and viruses too, real quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When you talk about bacteria and viruses, a lot of us don't even know what a virus is, and we don't even know how they function or how they move, or the cells, or the pathogens, or non-pathogen bacteria. So, like brother said, you can wear a mask if you want to, but your body, your own body, is its vaccination. You understand? Your body creates immunity in itself. Because what happens is, like I was saying earlier, you need to, inside of your body, you need to be oxidated first and foremost. You need an alkaline body. You understand? Antioxidants to help the blood flow. And you also need to have a balance of your bacteria. You need to have, like I said, 80% non-pathogen, 20% pathogens. And this is what happens in your body, how you become what they call asymptomatic. If a virus enters into your body, which especially an RNA virus, which is a reborn nucleic acid, and what that is with an SNS, SNS means single strand. So what happens is they can't replicate themselves when viruses get into your body. So when they enter into your body, your good bacteria doesn't recognize it as a foreign agent. attaches itself to that, and then your pathogens reproduce the virus until it can kill you. But what happens is your own body creates what is called a CRISPR. It's a clustered, regularly clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeat. And what that means, palindromic means sequence from left to right and right to left, which means if you read the word race car from left to right, it'll spell R-A-C-A-E-R, at the other end R-A, and coming from right to left, it spells the same way, the same as madam, so that your body won't be manipulated, or your cell won't be manipulated anymore to allow the virus to attach onto it, and it separates and teach. And because your cells are also DNA, they are double strand, and so they also receive information and they give information. So they tell all the cells in your body that this is a foreign agent that's in it, and your cell itself detaches itself from your virus, and the virus die. The medicine that they give you only make you feel good. Your body is actually what does the work. Your creator made your own body possible, and then once your body does that, it creates the antibodies to whenever this agent comes into its body again, it'll recognize it and it won't be as critical. And that's why I tell a lot of people, a lot of these vaccinations that we're taking don't work, because if they worked, you wouldn't have to take them but once in your lifetime. But like the flu virus, you take that every single year. They tell you to take it every single year. Well, if it worked, your body should be already have the antibodies in it to recognize when the flu comes again. Your body will fight it off before it gets in there. But you also have to have a very clean, good immune system, and that comes from putting the right things into your body. One of the other issues that we was just discussing in here.
And to follow and piggyback on that, okay. First of all, I want to follow up on Brandon. I am a true believer. I don't claim a religion, but I do believe in God. I believe that there's a high being. I believe my connection with God is anything when we talking positive and negative. I believe that God gave us everything we need on this earth. I know I do. It's no way, this is my belief, I don't believe man had nothing to do with the changing of the seasons, the birds and the bees and all of that come together. I also know that anything that you use naturally from this earth, that it will help you to sustain, and you can fight off anything. Most of our damage is based on the fact on how we treat ourselves. So when I was talking about on different levels, and I just got to say this because these are some things I said before, they talk about the church and all that. I always say the church is your body, which is the temple, your body. These things, you got to watch what you take in physically and spiritually, which affects you mentally. And when you have your mind and body working not together, then you're creating a serious battle within. So by you talking about having this knowledge, and we start to understand what we need to do to survive and who we are as a people. You can't do the same thing. I used to wonder why Chinese people had the little slanted eyes. And they don't have eyelids, right? Mm-hmm. But when I lived in Okinawa, Japan, I started to understand that people migrated in different places, mm-hmm. and their bodies started to change, and adapt. And also I found out as well that with different people's bodies and the way that we go about it and the foods that we eat causes us to change form. So if you have, like you say I got fish aquarium. Mm-hmm. I notice if you feed a fish a certain thing all the time, you can change that fish appearance. Mm-hmm. You can make it start to be another color. You can make it start to become bigger than it normally be. And these things are happening with human bodies as well.
Shapes and forms matter.
Right. So a lot of us are not really finding the truth about who we are and where we came from. When we start to understand that, then we can start to have this dialogue of really growing and stop beating each other's down, mm-hmm. and having this disrespect for one another. We have to change our way of thinking. We have to renew the mind. We have to understand. I noticed since this pandemic, I'm seeing more black people out working out and running and working out. This is what we should have been doing all the time.
Absolutely.
If you think about it, back in the slavery days, how many real fat black people did you see?
You didn't know any.
You didn't really see them because they was working all the time.
Even before slavery, first of all, you never really seen any too many of our brothers and sisters come from across that water that wasn't healthy anyway.
Right.
Because they work, and I don't like to call them Africans because they don't really call themselves
South
Africans. We
African,
name them that.
Yeah.
They claim their nationality, so I wanted to just say that real quick. So I didn't want to offend them, but because we're the hardest working people on this plane that we live on, brother. Even though people, contrary to what people believe, they call us lazy. But how can a European call you lazy when you was the one carrying them on a carriage on your back in the hot sun and giving him water and feet and fanning him, but you was doing all the work in the labor fields while he was sitting in his house. So you can't be lazy. It's impossible for us to be a lazy people. Our struggle right now is that we have all these different nationalities that come over here and reap the benefits of our slavery and our struggle.
Right.
Post-slavery, pro-struggle, everything that was set in structure for us as a people, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment being ratified, that was for the descendants of slaves. Everybody come, like the 14th Amendment says equal protection under the law. Well, who was they talking about that equal protection for? They weren't talking about immigrants, and I don't have a problem against them, but they weren't talking about that. They were talking about the descendants of slaves. And who are the descendants of slaves? We were the descendants of slave people, and everybody else reaped the benefits. As a matter of fact, it was the slaughterhouse case ruled on that. Two white Europeans tried to use the 14th Amendment, and the Supreme Court shot it down because it said it was for the descendants of slaves, so they couldn't use it because they was already protected equally under the law. We was the ones that was given that. My point is, everything that was put into place for us as a people to receive, everybody else is reaping the benefits.
I know. And we got to learn, and like you said, which was also really profound, you said we have to understand the law in order for the law to work for us.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't understand the law, then you don't have
If you don't
no
know
rights.
your rights, absolutely, in this country, you do not have a single right. They're not. Nobody's gonna give you.
That's why the police will come at you and treat you the way you do,
man.
because he'll automatically know if you know your rights by your conversation, how you respond to him. You start to getting all hyper and getting all, you play right into his hand. But if you sit back and then you let him go ahead and start the conversation, you just be conscious of, if a police officer pull you over, he got the right to pull you over because that's his job, right?
So he said.
So he said.
He gotta have.
But he gotta have probable cause. But what he can say is that he saw you on the phone, which he can make that up, or he can see that you didn't have your seatbelt on or whatever. Okay, I know. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back in here. Okay, go back down. It says Rachel said, "I got an alkaline water. I got my alkaline water today. My body loves it so much." Brother is telling us the truth. Rodney, you need to have him back to break it down for our people to understand. I know he's another one I'm going to have to get back in here.
Sorry, you losing messages.
Okay, come on, go, bring it back down again. Okay, we're going to stay on the messages for a minute. You can help me out, Eric, because okay, so let me see. What we got.
Power of my mind is key. Finding that sweet spot where knowledge becomes discipline, and together they create harmony and peace.
Okay, and then oneness is a key. We have to find the connection. Division is an illusion.
Say it.
Okay, I've been working out and 5-10K run, hiking and swimming way before the COVID hit.
She jumped. The Caucasian created a monetary system that gave the right to enslave those without the knowledge of their self.
This country was designed to oppress all people of color, especially blacks. I mean, you know something. One of the things that we as a people, it's not to make us racist. I always tell people I have to talk from a black man's perspective because I'm a black man. I have to talk about what affects me because it affects me as a black man. I tried to tell this white guy who I consider a friend of mine, right? And he said, I consider him my friend. But I had to tell him and say, dude, you don't know what it's like when you get on the elevator and you're the only black to get on there and everybody started acting funny. But then when you get on the elevator, there's all these black people, you pump your chest up.
Right.
Why? Why?
Because he feels superior, and we supposed to feel inferior.
Right.
That was inbred.
That's what I tried to tell him. That was embedded in our thinking.
Yeah.
So what you got to understand is that we got a lot of young people that are changing that today. We got a lot of young white, black, Hispanic, Asian, they are not looking at that at the way that it was back in the day. That's why it's also good for us to pay attention to the politics and what's going on in our government, because we have to change the way certain people are making the laws that are not to benefit us.
Here's what I'm saying. Like, this is a great topic, and we'll get back on that color thing. I was going to collab on that, but this is a great topic when you start talking about politics. First of all, like I said, if you don't know your rights, you don't have none. Like, we don't know the articles in the judiciary system. We don't know what Article 1, Article 2, or Article 3 stand for. So if you don't even have an idea that Article 1 is the legislation, right? Article 2 is the justice, not the justice, the commander-in-chief, which is the president, and then you have Article 3 is the judiciary system, which is your supreme justices over there. So you got to know, and all these have delegated power. You understand what I'm saying? Like Article 1 has their delegated power from the Congress. People talk about the president that write laws, right? Tell me one. President don't write laws. He signs them or vetoes them. And if he vetoes them, then the Congress can go back, and if they got, I believe, 2/3 or 3/3, then they can push that right past. But the president, we got to understand who is, and I'm not a politician, I'm not one that's into politics, but I understand it just a little bit. And I apply common sense. And common sense, you guys, is that sense which make all other sense make absolutely no sense at all. And we are some of the most common sense people on this plane. But as I was saying, you know, when you're dealing with those politics and you know that you got to deal with your local officials, that's how you get something done. And this is why I have a problem with, like, they got these people, these entertainers on TV telling us to just go out and vote, right? Listen, and talking this racist stuff, like, I don't care nothing about a racist. If you're a racist, that's fine. I don't care nothing about who you are, because at the end of the day, I'm going to get up and do what I have to do as a black man after you finish being a racist. Just stay out of my way and don't impede on what I'm doing. You understand? Don't infringe on my rights and my liberties that I'm born with. My inalienable, inherent rights. I don't care. Listen, I'd rather know that you're a racist instead of letting you get close to me and stab me in the back. But we got to understand these local politicians is what move the laws.
Yes.
So how do we effectively make our vote count? Like, brother, and I'm going to give you this, the brother Dr. Clark, one of my other master teachers on a more political basis, right? We're the only people that give our votes away for free to Democrats, right? Because they, just for the fact that they saying they're Democrats, we'll touch on that, right? Yeah. But how did we get effective change? We watched the whole city of Alexandria. Me and you grew up. It's totally changed. Yes. Right? We used to go down to Mount Vernon. We see the big jumbotron screen, and then all the community out watching a movie. We like, dang, block parties. We was like, why couldn't we get these things
back there?
And no, because we give our votes away for free. So how do we change that? Look, we got to stop being Democratic. We got to stop being Republican. We got to create our own party, and we got to get our own agenda, and then we got to also produce fundraisers to donate to the politician campaign. And then you produce, listen, in most major cities, even if we're not the majority in number, we're going to be the minority that'll swing the vote, Democrat or Republican. And how is that? Because most of the Europeans, they're going to split down the middle. Some going to go, most going to go Republican, others going to go Democrat, and they're going to be split. And we can swing the vote, Democrat or Republican. So what we need to do is come up with an agenda that best suit us. Not inclusive, because everybody has agendas. The Spanish people down in Spanish Town, they have a Spanish agenda. You understand what I'm saying? The Europeans over in Old Town, they have a European agenda. The Ethiopians up on the west side, they have an Ethiopian agenda.
Come on.
So now we have to go out and create a black agenda that's suited for us. And then we got to say, we got to have people that's in the politics to keep these people's butt on the hot seat. And we say, listen, we have $10,000 to donate to your campaign. Here's our agenda. Can you fulfill it? We don't care if they humpback, midget, gay, straight, tall, short, black, purple. What we trying to do is get our agenda fulfilled. You understand what I'm saying? We got to stop being emotional and understand if we're playing Monopoly, we got to play by Monopoly rules.
Hey, he said, Martin said he does put forth executive orders. Let me explain something to you. This is something that I'm talking about.
I don't know what executive
order is. Hold on. I want to show you something, though. I'm talking about the voting thing. So also a lot of people thinking that the president have all this power. Let me tell you something. The president don't have as much power as you think. The president is just a pawn. It's right there, this person for you. A lot of the people looking at it saying is that you think that Trump really got all this stuff going on? Trump was put in there to divert a lot of garbage that was going on way before him. When Obama was in office, let me tell you something. If the president was doing something, then why wasn't Obama able to pass all those agendas that he put forth that was going to help even the gay people? All that stuff, a lot of that stuff got knocked down here and there.
Not for the lesbian, gays, that LGBT.
No, but I'm saying some of it, what he did, he got moved because that was a lot of them that was out
They
there.
understand
They understand the politics. That's my point.
Right.
So my point is that when we talk about the president, you got to think about Congress. You got to think about your governors. You got to think about these people that's at these levels that are actually the ones that we can get right to. He said exactly. We have to stop living by other people's standards. We shouldn't. We have to create our own and understand what is it that's going to keep us surviving. Something else that I'm going to tell you something that I thought about. And I want your opinion.
Order.
I'm going to ask you.
Can I say something about this?
Go ahead.
The president executive order. We're going to stay on these comments too, but executive order, what exactly does that mean? We say things because we hear people say it and then don't even know what that means. Who is he giving executive orders to? His military.
Right.
That's it. That's who he gives the when it's time to march forward. That's who his executive order goes to. And I'm not even in the military, but that's
and I'm
what
gonna
I
tell you something.
by understanding law.
Let me tell you something with the president. The president, the only part of the military that the president have jurisdiction over is the United States Marine Corps. All the other armed forces, he cannot order them to do nothing without having to go through Congress, and that I know for a fact.
And see, I'm not in the military.
I'm a Marine, and I already know. The only thing that the president had the power to send the United States Marine Corps anywhere in the world within 24 hours. Anything else, he has to go through Congress to get. So he doesn't have that kind of power. But I lost my thinking on something that I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
When I was just thinking, something else I wanted people to think about too. We're talking about all of these things. I want to tell you, we're looking at what's happening. You know somebody else who's really, really suffering, really, really bad right now? All of the children. The children. They are suffering so bad. They're not in schools. They're not getting a proper education. And who was struggling with education in the beginning? We were. We was in a position where it was really hard for us to get education where it was going to benefit us to learn about who we are and what we are as a people.
I know it's a struggle, and it's going to be a struggle for us, but I kind of look at it, it's kind of, I'm straddled because we need to get to home teaching a little bit.
Yes. I got you.
The reason why I say that, because who would ever let their oppressors educate them as a people? The only education to me that should be promoted, and after this is all training, is reading, writing, and arithmetic. The 3 R's. They, from 1st grade to 4th grade, should be the mastery of reading, writing, and arithmetic. No history, none of that other stuff. Because once you master that, then all other trainings you can master.
Right.
But they teach you, they spend so much time teaching kids history and who was the first president and none of this stuff is irrelevant in a child's life when you're behind in reading, writing, and arithmetic.
And also what it does is psychologically start to affect you, because also some of the stuff that they had when they had Christopher Columbus discovered America, you got all these kids coming up believing that this one man, they thinking one man discovered this country when it ain't true. They got, I remember one time the teacher wanted my son for Black History to write a report on slavery. And I told him, my son not write no report on slavery. For what? He ain't never been no slave. And she was like, well, this is part of the curriculum. I said, I don't care what it is. He not writing it. Because you want him to come in there and talk about, and now we got other type of kids in there that are from other ethnic backgrounds, but you want my son, who's a black male, to come and say, well, all my people was walking with chains when your people was beating us. You done lost your mind. No, that's not what he's going to write about. What I told my son and I told that teacher, go ahead and give him the F, because when he comes in, he's going to talk about the black kings and queens and the warriors that he knew about his people from our history. Where we at?
Marcus Elliott said exactly everything we've been taught has been fraudulent.
And that's what keeps us under control and keep us blind. You know, I know hey, God, oh man, Father God, I thank you, Lord. I just thank you for this brother. Hey, let me tell you something. So, this is what's going to happen. I'm sorry, brother. You got to come back. I need you to get a part 2 immediately. Look at the schedule so that we can contact you. You got to come right back.
All right, man.
Okay.
We can come back and we can just chop it up. I love chopping it up, man, with you, because, you know, it's a long time blessing. But with my final words, man, first of all, I think that we just need to start as a people reading more and understanding a little bit more about law. Because law will move you into politics, and we'll be dealing with a lot of things far as what we know educationally from what we've learned through law instead of emotionally. You understand? Because we deal with everything on an emotional level. Because if we feel like something is right, then we automatically make that what's supposed to be right. We need to learn a little bit of law. We need to read. We need to study up on our health, what we should be putting inside of our body. We should challenge every particular thing. Listen. I may not be a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew, or I may be all of them, but I do study the book. You understand what I'm saying? And it says, first of all, you got to love one. People say God don't teach hate. It doesn't. He said, but you can't serve 2 masters. You got to love one and hate the other. And if you're going to have God as your master or the creator, and the reason why I call him the creator is because God is a fairly new word. You know, that is ancient. You understand? So I call it the Most High. Something that, you know, that can be broad. You feel what I'm saying? Because the word God comes from the word gu when you do etymology on it. But anyway, we need to get more back into just being educated as a people, as a whole, and removing.
What she says?
It said, facts, my brother. Reading, writing, and math is fundamental of learning in the classroom. Yeah, it's the foundation, absolutely, of all training. And that's what we need to do, get back into the classroom and learn what's best. First, we got to know who we are, where we come from. Most of us find our purpose, and even if we have differences, we got to come together, retain, relearn, buy our own. Buy our own. Eric, I caught the tail end, but thanks for your knowledge. Peace, brother. Thank you. Thank Brother Rodney for the invite, and also thanking him for creating a platform for us to get this information out. Because this is another thing we need too, brothers and sisters. We have to create our own platform. We have to start putting out our own information, and we gotta do it amongst each other. And there's nothing wrong with us being race first. We gotta get back to being the best that we can possibly be as a people, and that's being self-sufficient, self-reliant, and being able to sustain for ourselves.
Bro, I swear, man. I love you, bro.
I love you too, man.
Hey, peace and blessings to everyone. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. My guest here was Eric, pronounce your last name?
Wilhoit.
Eric Wilhoit. I just want to tell y'all, you know something, I'm just so thankful for this brother, and I'm going to bring him back immediately because we got some other brothers that we're going to bring in too. I got another platform that I'm working on, but I want to make sure that you're going to be a part of it.
Yes.
But we're going to make sure that we're going to bring Eric back. See, these things like this is what we have to do in our living rooms, in our homes. And here's the opportunity for us to take this platform. I ask everybody to help me keep moving forward because it's not just about me, it's about us. Go to YouTube, subscribe, because that's what we're trying to get into a bigger platform so that we'll be able to talk about everything we want to talk about without the fear of getting cut off and people telling us what we can share with one another when we're trying to get the proper knowledge out there to make us become together. People to people, that's me, you, and them. Them being whoever it is. And know that them don't really want us to move forward. Power to power, the power they possess, the power we possess, and when we get that power, we know what to do with it, what do we become? Positive thinking people. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Peace.
Thank you.